and then it said that you left the logged off and
Yeah,
logged
I
back on.
left. Yes, and then I relogged back in, and so now I have audio.
Sweet. So it looks like that's working pretty
Okay.
good. Let me try to make you the presenter. Go ahead and
It
confirm.
sh Yeah, I did, so it should be good. Okay. So don't worry about a webcam today.
No. It's one or the other. Your audio or your webcam.
It's not liking it today, huh?
I don't
Cool.
know.
Okay.
Somebody might be logged in on from somewhere, so it might be yeah, the audio's coming out good. So, all right. So welcome once again, everyone. And if you have any urgent campaign questions, clarifications, go ahead and enter them in the GoToWebinar control panel. In the meantime, Lauren, go screen's coming out good, audio's coming out even better this time around, so you are good to go.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. And then, yeah, feel free to jump in if you have anything to add. So this is a lot of meaty principles. So, your feedback, my feedback, everything would be awesome. Just to, put a really good session together. Cool?
Nice. Yep, good to go.
Awesome. So, very cool. So this segment is 5 success principles that I've gathered, from my mentors, what works in business, personal, all of them, and just put them together. So we're going to go over them, and this is going to be a longer segment, so we're going to tackle, one principle at a time throughout the week. So the 5 principles that we're going to go over, well, we'll get there, but the idea of why you need to master these principles is the idea of being able to write your own check. Wouldn't it be phenomenal to be able to pay yourself any amount any day that you want from your business? And that is the goal of being a business owner, and especially why it's very important to master these principles, because that's the goal, is you want to create a system that works for you instead of having you work for your system. And once you master all of these different principles, you will be positioning yourself at a advantage to literally be able to know exactly how to drive traffic, sell things, all of that good stuff, build fantastic brands, and all of that comes down to you will be able to get any amount of income that you would like from your business. So with that in mind, here are the principles that we're going to cover this week. We've already talked a little bit about goals, so we're going to just touch on that. We talked in previous webinars about achieving goals, so this is just putting goal structure together. Your belief, which we're going to spend a lot on because it all comes down to your belief. You can have fantastic goals, but if you have no sense of belief, probably not going to happen. Making sure you're in the proper environment to actually, grow that belief, make sure you achieve your goals in that environment is super important. And then being able to model off of success and finding the right mentors, and then putting it all together with the bigger picture and making sure, it's not all about the money. So keeping that in mind as well. So today we're going to jump into the idea of having clear goals. And whatever your goal might be, that's the idea, is just getting very clear on what you're doing. If you don't have a sense of direction, you're not going to go anywhere. So for achieving goals, the different things that we're going to talk about is setting goals, setting intentions, which is what we've kind of touched on before, taking action, the perseverance, and then the maximizing your time. And all of those are factors that go into actually being able to achieve the goals that you set out to go and accomplish. So when you're setting a goal, you definitely need to have a crystal clear goal. You need to have that direction. So if we're talking about businesses, what is the goal or the vision of what you want for your business? Where do you see your business? It can be a short-term goal, in 3 months, where do you want your business to be? It can be the 5-10-year goal. Where do you want your business to be? But just making sure that you know exactly and have that crystal clear mindset. People are like, oh, yes, I want my business to be successful. And that's where they leave it at. That's not going to be putting you in a very good place, because if you don't have that defined and know exactly what it looks like, feels like, all of that aspect, you're never going to know if you're going to achieve it. And 98% of people don't actually set out a crystal clear goal or expectation. So why do you think people aren't achieving those goals? Well, it ties into it. So being very clear and knowing exactly what it is that you want, or in those terms, see what's the manifestation that you're going to see out of your business. That is why you need to have that crystal clear definition there. If you're aiming at nothing, that's exactly what you're going to hit, nothing. And we've talked in there, so just briefly about goals versus intentions. So goals, we want to be very realistic, but when we're focused on the goal, that's where we get tripped up. So make sure, we're going to set the goal, but then we're going to the intention. So if you missed that webinar, make sure that you catch it. We have replays on our training sites and all over. But just talking about that, although we're talking about goals in the big sense, the eye on the prize is going to be focusing and movements within the intention. And you're like, oh my goodness, although we're being very specific when we're setting a goal, in achieving the goal, you don't want to work in that specificness of it. If you're planning out every single steps and looking and analyzing and trying to figure out the how to get there part of the goal, that's going to make it harder. So when you're focused on the intention and not planning the how to get there, just moving forward and all the stuff that we're going to cover in a second, that's where you want to keep in mind. So we set the goal, but we work within the intention to reach the goal and not try to have this analytical sense when achieving goals. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And like I said, this is a fantastic thing. We spent a really long time going between goals and intentions, so make sure you guys catch that replay. So here's the thing. So can you really go from zero to expert? And that's a lot of people, especially the coaching students that I work with. All of us, we start at zero. And how do you get to this point? If you have that goal and your vision of being an expert, whether it's you personally or you want your business to get to that expert field and that authority, and that's the best business for whatever it is that you provide, how do you go from that zero to expert? And here's something to just keep in mind. Has anyone ever had exceptional, mind-blowing results and only put in, an average or a little bit of effort? I doubt it. You have to put in the work, and that's the thing with the entrepreneur. We're willing to do something that no one else is for, a certain amount of time, because the intention is once you lay that fantastic foundation and you work really hard at it, then you're not going to have to be trading your time for dollars and working in that sense. Whereas, the people that never build any business, they don't have another choice. They're going to have a job their entire life. So work super hard, put in, exceptional amount of effort now, so that way you can have, exceptional results later on.
Yeah, Lauren.
And then, just keep in mind.
Add on to that one a little bit, right? I mean, exceptional results, average effort. We always talk about using systems and tools, and nowadays you can leverage social media, and there's cool stuff we're doing with internet marketing. But at the same time, there is work that goes into it. There's time that we set aside, whether it's a couple hours or several hours in a day. I wanted to address this because some of you guys are really in a position where it's somewhat of a blessing in disguise, right? Where maybe now you have 5-7 hours a day because your part-time gig or your full-time job held out on some hours on you, or told you to take a vacation for a while, or basically you're no longer in a full-time position with that company that you thought you'd be with for quite some time, right? Use that to your advantage and dedicate a good chunk of those hours into your entrepreneurship project, into your business, so that you can, right? And we'll start seeing some good results coming back. Now, if you do have more time to put into your internet marketing pipeline, whether it's your website, whether it's email marketing, or you're blogging for dollars, or producing an income generating website, all that stuff will go back to you, but you will have to put some effort in on the front end a little bit, right? Even on something as simple as blogging and producing an income generating website, right? The beautiful thing about this is that in the long haul, eventually you do build up this nice little momentum, and that in itself, takes up a life of its own. And you're not having to work as hard or as many long hours as you did on the front end.
Yes, I completely agree. Dave Ramsey shares that awesome quote, live like no one else, so then you can live like no one else.
Nice. I do like that one.
So exactly with that. And then, just keeping in mind, the effort that you're putting in now, like even this weekend, I prepared this PowerPoint, so I didn't spend time with my kids, and they're just like, Mommy, do this. I'm like, sweethearts, I love you, but Mommy's working very hard now, so that way later on, we can go and do fun things and vacations and all of that. So, it's definitely hard, being that parent and not being able to, do 100% with your kids and having to balance that. And that's definitely something, a challenge that I go through, and just trying to talk to your kids and, hey, look around, mommy's doing something different, and we have to get through it. And it's definitely, putting in the effort now, but also putting in the correct type of effort, which we're going to go in later as far as maximizing your time, but just things to keep in mind of, there's a reason why not a lot of people get to the levels that we're all seeking. And it's because you have to put in a lot of effort right now to then get, fantastic rewards. And I know, the rewards are, 10, 100 times more than the initial effort you had to put in. But if you don't do the effort, you'll never get to that reward. Okay. So from there, taking action, this is where a lot of people get held up, is, the biggest thing is, are you ready? And, here you can be on the starting line. You're not really quite sure what to do, but the biggest thing here is just to start going forward. You don't have to know all the things, and that's been something, that, struggling with too, is, hey, if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle, a lot of people, they like to collect, but the biggest thing is you're waiting to get ready. So all of these thoughts can just be going through your head, and it's something, I know I personally struggle with. I'm not sure about you, Gail, but it's just definitely something, if you're not quite sure, and it's this, not quite paralysis. Some people literally, they're completely trigger shy and can never do, analysis paralysis. So it's not like that, but it's more, okay, I'm willing to take action, but I think I need a little bit more, and it's hard to really gauge, okay, do I actually need that information? Or can I get going and produce some results? So all the stuff that we're going to be talking about, especially like next week, we're going to get in more on like blogging and things like that, and really working on content and things like that. And it's like, hey, in that position, that's definitely one. Just start taking action. It doesn't matter. You're going to tweak it. But even what we've mentioned before is, you cannot, if you're never shooting baskets, a coach can never come and tell you a different way to do it. If all you're doing is theory and never trying or implementing, there's no way that you can improve. So you just have to get out there and start trying it even before you feel ready or have the whole picture. Just kind of muddle through, and, we're going to go into as far as mentors go, but, if a mentor or somebody that's getting the results that you want is telling you, hey, this is how you do it, just go start figuring it out. And, chances are, if you mess up, I don't think there's anything that's going to be, so detrimental. And oh my goodness, that blog post means that you can never advertise on the internet again. You're completely fired, and you'll never be able to, log on to Facebook again. There's very little that could, really happen in that case that can permanently mess you up. So just go get your, hands dirty. But the biggest thing is all the thoughts that keep coming to mind and those hesitations, ignore them as best you can, and we definitely work on personal development and things like that to get through that as well. So as far as just doing it, the idea with that is you learn, then you do it, and then you correct it. And that's basically the way to succeed. A lot of people, they want to learn, then they want to learn the correct ways to do it and have all these theories and kind of jumping from learn to correct to then to do. But most people just get stuck in the correct phase, and they don't really, how can you really correct things if you don't have something to edit? It's like, trying to bring a manuscript to an editor, but you don't have the manuscript. You're just like, well, here's my notes, and I know this, and I'm going to have a body paragraph here, and then I'm going to have this here, and this is what my character's going to do. But if you don't actually have, a manuscript, then how on earth can somebody edit it? So just make sure, just go there, get your manuscript as dirty and messy as you want, because you can always go revise and correct and assess. And that's the biggest thing, is to always keep growing and improving. And in that sense, like they say, if you're not growing, you're dying. It's not so much that you're going to be sitting still. It's just, it's one way or the other. So you either are moving forward or sliding back. It's very hard because life doesn't stay the same. So how can you stay the same? So either it's going forward or going back. And then also following the doers. And we're going to get, really big in this when we cover environments and about your sphere of influence. But the biggest thing, if you're struggling to actually do, follow people that are doing what you do. Hey, guess what? That's what coaching's all about, is you guys are all, figuring things out together and moving through. and working with us. Gil and myself, we're down there in the trenches and we're doing exactly what it is that we're telling you guys to do. And I know I make mistakes. I'm sure Gil maybe makes a mistake every now and then. But we all make mistakes, and that's the thing. If you're just kind of surrounding yourself with this, crowd of doers, you guys are all going to be doing and messing up and correcting and moving forward, and everybody's still moving up, which is the goal to keep in mind. So, Gil, do you ever make a mistake?
Oh man, lots. And I think that's also why, our marketing campaigns, or we get the kind of results we do get, is because we do try out a lot of stuff, a lot of the conventional stuff that we know already works, some stuff that seems like it's not going to work. Sometimes those turn out to be some of the best marketing campaigns or sources of our income or revenue for us. So I like more the approach of ready, fire, aim. Take some action, and at that point there's something to talk about, as opposed to, you could you've seen this with people out there, especially with business owners that are out there trying to promote their businesses. They get it's too much talk, too much analysis, and at the end of the day they're not able to take a step in any direction. I think at that point they just have to do something, whether it's correct or wrong, it doesn't matter. They just have to do something so that we can make a course correction, and somewhere is better than nowhere, right?
Yeah, usually, unless you're in Antarctica, then you have to do a lot of trekking to get back in the ballpark.
And you mentioned some really good things there earlier, right? At this stage in the game, at this point in your business, you guys aren't doing anything drastic or on such a large scale that it would literally shut down or cripple your opportunity, cripple your business, or shut it down, right? If you are making that type of decision, then chances are you would have already achieved some level of success and you have good advisors around you. But if you're just getting started out, or if you're still in training or support, then these are the kind of mistakes that go out there and make them do something.
Yeah, exactly. So that being said, still use some common sense. I heard this, oh my goodness, crazy story about somebody. I'm not sure if you heard this, Gil. I want to say it was last year or the year before. Somebody was managing the social media it was a big company. I want to say it was like AT&T or some sort of a cell phone company. Anyways, they just put, I think it was an intern in charge of their social media account. It was definitely, one of those quote unquote, like entry level, low ranking, whatevers, but they had, authority to go and post on this, major corporation's website. Well, what they did is on September 11th, they posted, a tribute or memorial to 9/11. However, they also branded it and put like buy AT&T cell phones or something. So it was like, here it's a memorial and the picture of the towers or something like that. And it was like, always remember. And then down below it was like to buy AT&T cell phones or something like that. And it was such an outrage and all this crazy stuff. I think like the kid got fired, and like AT&T CEO had to come out and apologize and all that stuff. So use your head. But like I said, most of the stuff that you do right now, if you use your head, it's not going to be the end of the world. And even then, AT&T, okay, it was a scandal or whatever. Like I said, it might not have even been AT&T, but, people still buy their phones. Even that blows over, and that was a pretty major, oh my goodness. So, anywho's, yes, just go. And then, hey, Gil, just curious. So when you learn, I don't know if it's a set thing or, but if let's say you attend a webinar or you go somewhere and you hear about a new marketing strategy you want to try out, like maybe a new Facebook strategy or anything like that. So let's say you learned it at a workshop on Saturday. How soon do you like to go kind of get your fingers dirty and start running with it?
For a campaign like that, normally, like, if I do go to a workshop, I'll make sure that we can actually implement the stuff, that it's that type of workshop, and it's not a workshop where, okay, here's enough, but then, you actually have to buy this supplementary training course, or then you need to go into our private VIP coaching. Well, the event wasn't a private VIP event, you know what I mean? So it wasn't exactly set up correctly or properly informed But I do like to implement it, be able to run it same day, at the workshop, and then within that week start tweaking some of the actual results, or at least be able to test it within 3 to 5 days. So launch, test within 3 to 5 days.
That's very cool. And then that's something probably, everybody should just kind of get on that system. Okay, whatever you learn, make sure you can implement it, next day, something like that. So you're already tweaking it. Like you said, by the end of the week, you should already be in the tweaking stage, not the, oh, I'm still learning and I'm almost ready to launch the campaign.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, guys, especially with a lot of the newer stuff that's coming out, and we're testing some new courses here in some other niches. And everybody's really moving towards, it's that practical, smart approach where if you can't implement and test the system and get some tangible results for yourself, then, these are products that don't really take off the ground, or they're just making it a whole lot better overall, and which is a great thing. So you should be able to find courses, trainings, programs, workshops, that you can implement within 3 to 5 days, launch, test, and then see if it's if it's something sustainable for the business, or if if it's a pipeline not really worth getting into. Again, nowadays it is getting a whole lot simpler to implement these strategies, to implement these tools, and I think come end of August we're actually coming out with our own updates with some of the CRM tools we're using, and we're moving to like an overall all-in-one platform. And really at that point it just becomes the only number one thing is, okay, how do we market more to get this in front of as many eyeballs so that they could benefit from it.
Yes, completely agree. Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for jumping in there. Okay. So then once you kind of do that with your goals, and okay, so you're actually taking action. Awesome. So whether it's, you're getting good results, getting horrible results, the big thing here is to never give up. And I've always loved this image. My mom actually had like a poster of this since I was little. I've always just seen this image and it's just stuck in mind. But that's the idea, is you just, whether good results, bad results, whatever it might be, the idea is to just keep going. So a lot of people, they get stuck on the movement aspect, but then if you can get past that, the other pitfall to avoid is to feel like you're never going to move forward. You can't, it doesn't matter, if you're listening to the right people, you're gonna reach that end goal. It just might take longer or be more difficult or whatever it might be, but just keep moving forward. And with that in mind, getting laser focused and, which I've touched on before, but to really focus down and just, whatever it is your goal might be, nail it and then just keep that in mind. That one track mind is very important. And then the no distractions, I think especially for anybody that's getting into, advertising online and training courses and stuff, there is a huge thing, and I know I experienced it, is it's so overwhelming, but then I've touched on the shiny object syndrome, that you're all over the place, but to really keep out those distractions, be selective about who you're listening to, and it's hard to literally get to the point where you're like, no, and that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm like, hey, yes, I'm sure you have some fantastic information, but right now, I'm just focusing on this, and really getting to that laser focused and being okay with saying the word no, I'm not ready, I'm not whatever, and just working on what it is that you need to do. And then a lot of people, they get in and they're always chasing the secret or the easy way. And they think, especially, people that they're modeling after, and they see all these successful people, they're sure that there has to be some secret. Oh my gosh, they can't be doing what it is that they're telling me to do. There has to be this extra special way. But Gil, you've had good success. Is there a secret special way, or do you just plug away doing what you're doing?
No, like with the laser focus thing, it's laser focus now, right? But when first getting started out, I still buy a lot of courses on a regular basis. I still go through my own trainings, and so it's tough. It's tough when you're starting out because you have a million things coming at you. It gets easier once you focus on your core stuff, right? Once you just become a full-time internet marketer or a full-time business owner, because now you can spend hours in the day reviewing these courses, really go through them in detail. So just understand and expect that, right? For everybody that's in a similar approach. But when first getting started out, I mean, I would recommend you unsubscribe from every mailing list that you're currently on right now that has nothing to do with Lauren's content, that has nothing to do with our training. That's number one, right? That's going to help a whole lot, because now you're not looking at Jim, Bob, and Vic, and Johnny, and Michelle's system. And there's nothing wrong with systems and programs out there, but if they're all 10 different ones, then you're not going to be able to pick one and run with it, because you have so many things pulling at you. So focus on one set system or program that you can really run with, and unsubscribe from everybody else's junk.
Yes, and I've even done that in my Facebook. You know, I've unfollowed a lot of even the gurus or the leaders and different things, because I'm just like, oh my goodness, you know, it's just seeing that, and that's not what I'm focusing on right now. And that's the cool thing with, you know, at least with Facebook and those things. You know, emails, okay, if you unsubscribe, if you want them, you kind of have to remember who they were. But with Facebook, it's like, oh, I can unfollow you temporarily, and then when I'm ready to see the content or the whatever that you want to see, you can easily just go click a button and start seeing that again. I've even done that like with Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and getting rid of those distractions. If I'm not currently going to be doing something in those groups, I've just turned off notifications to really keep that laser focus. And because, yeah, there can be something, you know, if something comes up and it's like, hey, this is an awesome, you know, thing for small business coaches. Oh my gosh, that's talking to me. That'd be great. But it would be a distraction thing, although it might complement what I'm I'm working on. But right the moment, I'm not going to listen to that, because I want to accomplish whatever the goal is and get some momentum going. And like Gil's saying, once you have some momentum going, then that will allow you the time to go and start selecting and doing that. And it won't be a distraction at that point. It'll be, complementary, and not hindering your progress. It'll be, helping you get there even quicker. Cool. And then tenacity. I love Dory from Finding Nemo. So that just keep swimming, and pretty much keeping that goal in mind. It goes down to just not giving up, but it's just literally just keep swimming, and at a constant pace, too, as best as you can. You know, a lot of people, they might work really hard at it and give it an entire week, and they don't see results, and then they're not going to give up, but you're going to notice that the effort that they put in starts to dwindle after a time being, and that's the important part, is just keep swimming, but swim at that constant pace. Even if you're not quite sure that direction and you need some help getting back on course, if you're still swimming, at a constant level, that's what you want to do. You don't want to have, you fired up and you put 80 hours a week into this new business, and then the next 3 weeks you only put in 2 hours. It's a big discrepancy. So that's where very consistent, and that's the only way that you're gonna be getting consistent results, is with consistent effort. And then this commitment to achievement. With this part, the idea is, you're focused on, reaching the top of that mountain and not giving up. But also, I like the one, make money, not excuses. So there's, a million different reasons why you cannot climb the mountain, and a lot of them are very, logical and stuff. But the bottom line is if your goal is to be on top of that mountain, and that's what you truly want, then there shouldn't be any excuses not to get there. And then also relying on other people. And we're going to touch more on this when we cover mentors later on in the week, but relying too much on mentor other people also allow you to give an excuse, because you're taking that responsibility outside of yourself. So, if your mentor, that you're, hey, if you're listening to me and I decide to go on vacation, and take my kids out and we're gone for a month, does that mean that you shouldn't be doing anything? No. So that's where you need to come down to, you can listen to, myself and Gil and, all the people that we listen to, and that's awesome. But the bottom line is, if we all disappeared or went on vacation somewhere, you still need to be moving forward and relying on yourself. So don't just follow what other people are doing exclusively, and then, oh, they're not there today, awesome, I can take the day off. So it has to be internally that you want to be climbing that mountain. And maximizing your time. That's a huge one. Every single person only has the same amount of hours in the day, and it's how you use them that will determine the results that you get. This being said, the actual activities that you're doing are pretty much irrelevant without the proper mindset. If you're oh, I'm never going to get ahead, this is not working very well, and you're doing, the advertising versus, oh my gosh, this is moving me forward, this is so fantastic, and I can hardly wait to see these things come in, and you're doing your campaigns, those campaigns will even perform differently because of the mindset that goes into it. So make sure that your mindset is fixed. And although we want to work on activities and those income generating activities and things like that, you don't want them to be, with the wrong mindset. If you believe that it's not going to work or it's too hard or challenging, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's going to be slowing down your progress. And then a lot of us get stuck in perfecting the details, and that's when we go into blogging and things like that and go into speed blogging and perfection. That's definitely a hard one for me. Even like doing these PowerPoints, it's okay, how much is, beneficial to my time versus just all the added fluff. So just being aware of that. And a very key point, that we all I don't like it, but it's true, is that busy does not mean that you're productive. Somebody who has to, like the little image of the guy, and you're on the phone 24/7 and everybody, and you're getting all these text messages and everyone needs your help and you have all these clients to fill. Busy does not mean productive. And speaking from personal experience, that's exactly what happened when I fell into my self-employed trap of starting my animal party business. We were very, very busy. So busy, there were literally not enough hours in the day. I had to work from the time I woke up. It was emails and phone calls and billing and all that good stuff. Scheduling and actually doing the events and going out and performing, taking animals to kids' birthday parties, or we teach after school classes with animals. So all of that. And then at the end of the day, after I'm done with that, I have to go return a ton of phone calls and emails and back to the grind. And that was what I was doing from the time I woke up to pretty much, an hour before I went to bed, and then I would just unwind. So although I was super, super busy doing all these tasks, I was not being a productive business owner. And that was the biggest flaw that I did, is that we were looking back on it, there's different decisions that we could have made, but at the same time, when you're in it and it's, the workload is up to your neck, it's very hard to realize that busy does not mean productive. And the decisions that we made in our business, because we were so overwhelmed, being busy was not what was in the best interest of the business. So just to really keep that in mind and get that through your head, just because you have 15, people to call back does not mean that you're making the best choices for your business. So really think about that. And when we talk about income generating activities, that's a great way. If anybody just needs help, getting a sense of all of that, please, talk to us and let's figure out and work on those income generating activities so you can be productive and not busy. So strong work ethics here. So if you're in the frame of reference, okay, you're ready to be productive and not busy, then that comes down to you need to be able to work smarter and not harder. And this image is perfect with it. I try, now I'm to the point, I think because I was carrying that box and carrying all that responsibility and being so busy for literally 5 straight years. We worked 7 days a week. I took a 1-week vacation one time. That's it. So yeah, out of 5 years, we were busy. Were we productive? So after carrying something that large, I've gotten, I sometimes tend to take things a little too extreme, or a lot extreme. And so I am so determined to only work smarter that I have a hard time working harder sometimes, because I've realized that path is so easy to fall down to. If you have that do-it-yourself mentality and you're just going to get in there, you're going to make decisions that might end up, making things harder and not smarter. So when I'm looking at setting up my new business, and working there, that's definitely the things that I was keeping in mind is, hey, okay, well, being on the phone all day, that's a very busy task. I can hire an assistant that can do that. Or instead, I let my brain think, how can I do better so that I don't need that huge volume of phone calls? What system can I put into place to not have to even worry about this huge workload? So from the beginning, before that business even launches, I'm having that, work smarter, not harder, ingrained in this new business system. So I'm very excited on working on that. So definitely things to, keep in mind with that. And the building systems, cannot emphasize it enough. Whether it's, even a brick and mortar business, an online business, it might be, build systems, and, they say is, build people, and the people will build your system. So start working on that instead of that whole do-it-yourself aspect, because like I said, I went through all of that. It was a fantastic learning experience. But if you want to put in 7 days a week of nonstop hard work for 5 years, I can also give you that plan too. And then building momentum, which Gil had touched on earlier. So pretty much when you're getting out there and you're producing these results and getting really good things, then that's where you can start to have very easy, scalable growth. So here's the thing. So in your business, you made $10,000 last month. That's awesome. So you hit your goal, that's fantastic. And, back to, my goal setting thing is once you hit the goal, don't accidentally forget to set more goals. So awesome, you made $10,000, now you want to get to $20,000. Well, here's how momentum can start to build up. By teaching other people how you made the $10,000, that will increase your sphere of influence and momentum to get you to, the next thing, which would be $20,000. So building upon that momentum and keeping it going. And, once you have the momentum going, that's exactly what Gil's saying. As you've built that momentum in your business, now suddenly your time is more free. The system is running the system and not you. And then you have time to, cool, now I'm going to go look at this other training course and figure out how you can implement that. And that adds to your momentum. Instead of taking away when you're initially trying to get that going, this is the time that you get to expand and just grow with things, because you already have, that giant rock falling down the hill. So, you don't have to push it anymore. It's pretty good. And now you can just help it speed up. So pretty much, once you've built a system, and this is what we're talking about, so taking action and all of that stuff is building a system, and then with that, you put in the momentum, and that's how you can build fantastic success. So keep those goals in mind. Those help you to build your system, to build momentum, and when you put the two together, it's magic. Okay, and with this one, just a recommended reading, which actually I need to read because I've been recommended a million times and it's on my to-do list. But everyone keeps recommending the Psycho-Cybernetics book, which is absolutely fantastic for everything that we're going to be talking about today, upcoming, and it's just, as I've been hearing, it's a fantastic book. Gil, have you read this one yet?
Psycho-Cybernetics, yeah, that's a good one. They also have the audio one, if in case some of you guys, normally that's the next question that'll pop up. There's an audio version too. It's heavy on the technical side, right? I mean, if you're like a rocket scientist or an engineer or have an owl for a personality, this kind of stuff is going to click real well with you. I kind of struggle with some of that stuff sometimes. But you just, you read it, you don't get everything, that's fine, you just go back to it over and over. But for those of you that are looking for something a little bit more than just the law of attraction and The Secret, right, you get the idea, but you're not quite, sold on it, or you're looking something for a little bit more tangible, go through Psycho-Cybernetics and tell me if that doesn't provide that fix that you are looking for on how this whole thing works. But it's pretty cool stuff.
Very cool. Awesome. And I think that will be, that's where we're going to leave it today. So we're going to get into a huge segment on beliefs for tomorrow.
Awesome. Are you going to have like a little affirmation or a belief sheet that would be available for those who want to look for that extra little oomph, or like a guide, for example?
I can do that. What I've been doing, like with my coaching students, is getting them things to do, like goals and things like that. So that would definitely be something that I could do for coaching students. If we want to just run it out to everybody, then that's fine too. We can put something together.
Nice. No, yeah, just a little, feedback and footnotes on there. Maybe something you could use in the resources. But
Awesome.
Good stuff. So let's see. Let me just check quite a few things on here. Love that success colors. Nice. All right, cool. So yeah, business as usual, guys. Hopefully you guys are making the most of these sessions, taking some good notes, but most importantly, sending these out to your lists, to your peoples, to your folks, to your teams. Or if you don't have one yet, that's okay, right? You build it, they will come. Start by placing it first on your blog. The how to make money niche is a huge industry and space in itself. And this is the kind of content that those people are looking for, and they might as well be doing business with you as opposed to somebody else. So Roy, let me know if Steve is able to reach out to you. Hopefully he can contact you here today. But otherwise, if he can't reach out to you, do let me know. And we will definitely all keep in touch. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. And have a great one, everybody. Thanks, Lauren. I'll see you tomorrow.
Cool. And Guild, just let me know when you want to connect about the marketing campaign.
Oh, yeah, sure. Actually,